In November 2009, 21-year-old Christina Whittaker of Hannibal, Missouri, disappeared under very suspicious and mysterious circumstances that attracted plenty of attention from the media, true crime shows, and even hobbyist investigators. Her story has become more about the mystery and disturbing rumors about her case rather than her as a person and mother who is struggling with mental illness and has vanished from existence and is classified as a missing persons in serious danger. Regardless of whether she was kidnapped by criminals and used in the sex industry as some allege, or simply snatched by sadist murderer who terrorized her before killing her and disposing her body in a manner that has been made difficult to find, nothing about the night of her disappearance makes sense, and the police have never found a single solid lead. Stay tuned as we dig deep into the mysteries surrounding the disappearance of Christina Whittaker. On Friday, November 13th, 2009, Christina Whittaker went missing and was never found. Her case went cold. Everything about the chain of events associated with her disappearance simply does not make sense. Too many witnesses who saw her that night gave contradictory statements, and later, baseless, unsupported rumors spread as more witnesses and speculators made the case more like a puzzle that simply does not fit together. From the beginning, the police had very little to go on, or at least that's what they say, because the more we look into the case, the more we realize that they've definitely missed something major. Christina Whittaker was a young mother living with her 6-month-old daughter, Alexandria, and boyfriend, Travis Blackwell. The night of her disappearance was her first night out with her friends since giving birth. She was excited, but committed a mistake that miserable night by drinking because she was taking antidepressants and other treatments for bipolar disorder, which simply should not be mixed with alcohol. Nevertheless, according to her friends and bartenders who saw her that night, she did drink, but not enough to be completely intoxicated. Anyway, that night she asked her boyfriend Travis to babysit Alexandria at her mother's house. Travis had dropped her off at the Rookies Sports Bar at 600 Broadway, somewhere between 8:30 p.m. and 8:45 p.m., where she was greeted by a group of her friends. At 10:30 p.m., Christina called her boyfriend and asked him if he wants her to bring him something to eat on the way home. She also told him that she would be home around midnight and would call him back if she could not find a ride home. As per Christina's friends who met her at the bar and other witnesses, after a few drinks, she began to be rather belligerent around 11 p.m., which is something that can be explained as a result of mixing alcohol with her prescribed medication. And even if she had not taken her medication earlier that day, as someone who suffers from severe depression and bipolar disorder, a few drinks of alcohol can cause serious confusion and behavioral imbalance, among other things. As per witnesses, Christina's behavior eventually became too belligerent, and she had another drink, and then around 11:45 p.m., she was asked to leave the Rockies bar. Something strange happened to Christina while being escorted out of the bar. Her friends did not leave with her, and none of them volunteered to take her home or at least guide her outside to calm her down or keep her company. We can only assume that they were not big fans of Christina and possibly held grudges against her. They also knew that she should not be drinking, yet they did not protest her alcohol consumption spree. Their lack of empathy towards her also shows that they did not care for her, or at least one of them wished her ill will. One of them even said to investigators that they did not leave with her as she was being escorted out because they didn't need to go to jail. Nevertheless, her friend's behavior and also Christina's behavior that led her to be kicked out of the Rockies bar should have raised at least some questions. Who is she rude to at the bar? Did she interact with someone who caused her to become agitated? And does that have anything to do with her disappearance? Additionally, what did her friend mean by, "We did not want to go to jail"? Nevertheless, Christina headed over to the River City Billiards after the ordeal at Rocky's bar. According to patrons, she asked what they called friends and also strangers for a ride home. She also went to the Sportsman bar and did the same. This fact meant that she was aware that midnight was approaching and aware of her promise to her boyfriend of getting home around midnight. Nevertheless, for unknown reasons, no one, including people who knew her and her circumstances, the ones that were called friends in the police report, agreed to give her a ride home. Even the bartender at Sportsman Bar, Vanessa Swank, recognized Christina because she was a family friend. According to Swank, they were getting ready to close when Christina entered while arguing with someone on the phone and soon began crying and ran out the bar's back door. This moment represented the last time anyone saw Christina. To this day, she's still missing. No one missed Christina that night, nor suspected that something was wrong. Not even her boyfriend, who went to sleep and simply did not wait for Christina to get home. The next morning, when he woke up, he realized that she never came home. He immediately called her mother, Cindy Young, hoping that she knew where Christina was. However, Cindy was out of town and immediately headed home upon hearing the news, out of worry for her daughter, who she knew was not supposed to be drinking. It is not uncommon in the United States for an adult woman not to return home after a night out, especially in small towns like Hannibal, where everyone knows one another, and thus is presumed to be safe in comparison to big cities where everyone is presumed to be a stranger. Anyway, she was missing for merely hours, and her boyfriend simply arranged for someone to look after the baby Alexandria so that he could head to work in the morning. On Saturday morning, a man found Christina's mobile phone outside an apartment complex near Sportsman Bar. According to the police, the phone exchanged too many hands between the time it was found and handed to them, and thus it provided to be useless as evidence. Christina's family and boyfriend assumed that she was out doing her thing, so they put the matter to rest for the rest of Saturday. However, they decided on Sunday morning that something was not right, and they went to the police to report a missing person. Some people, including news reporters, made a big deal out of the delay in reporting her missing. However, Captain Jim Hark of the Hannibal Police Department stated that it's not as odd as it may appear. As soon as the police began searching for Christina and retracing her last moves, everything simply went wrong in the town, and it had a bad reputation for being a place where everything is based on rumors and gossip rather than facts and truth. Right off the top, the investigators got conflicting reports about Christina's activities on Friday night. The bartender at Rocky's bar claimed that Christina became combative and was escorted out the back. Yet, the bouncer says that she returned minutes later with the company of a male. Another witness claimed that she left the bar at her own will, while in the company of several males. Additionally, one of her friends claimed that before she was asked to leave the Rockies bar, she did exit a bit and was sitting in a dark car right outside the bar talking to two males. And then after she returned, she was asked to leave. Some people said that Christina was mixed up with drugs. However, this is hard to believe since she had spent the past 1.5 years dealing with her pregnancy and caring for a 6-month-old daughter. The rumors about drugs went as far as claiming that she was an informant for the police and was even sexually involved with a police officer. It is clear that she may have taken drugs in the past, which is quite common in America. Additionally, as someone who suffers from severe depression and has a long history of mental illness, she was probably easy to exploit and manipulate, and thus her sexual encounters in the past could have easily included one with a police officer. Her mental illness and the fact of her biggest crime throughout her life was a traffic violation can only point that she was never allowed to become a police informant. There is also no evidence that she was close enough to any known criminal organizations. Soon, many theories surfaced and only made the situation worse. Some TV shows exploited the story and claimed that her boyfriend failed the polygraph test. However, Travis took the exam again in the presence of professional police officers and specialists and passed the test. Her family also insists that he has nothing to do with Christina's disappearance. According to some sources, an informant told the police that a group of men who trafficked drugs and women for sexual purposes had kidnapped Whittaker and taken her to Peoria, Illinois, where she was forced to work in the sex industry. This led some people in Peoria to allege that they saw her there. Another woman who claimed that she spent time with Christina Whittaker in a local mental hospital, where Whittaker confided in her about her life as a forced sex worker. Interesting, a member of Peoria's police narcotics unit thinks he may have seen Christina in February 2010. This leads to wonder, how come all the witnesses in a small town of 17,000 people could not give the police a single definite lead? Everyone sort of knows everyone in this small town. There was a reason Christina asked various friends from 3 different bars for a ride. That reason is recognition, because it is something common in a small communities where people frequent the same places and often run into one another, especially at bars and pubs. We don't have to mention the rumors of criminals in the drug business and the capacity to kidnap or coerce girls into the sex industry in such a small town is very limited, and they are probably known to the police. Evidence also points out that Christina was tough despite her mental illness and loved her daughter and family. She definitely did not leave voluntarily. All evidence points that the police investigators missed very important evidence right from the beginning. They simply did not spend enough time trying to figure out who were the individuals she interacted with the night of her disappearance. Nor did they establish a list of known and dangerous local gangsters who were present at all 3 bars and pubs Christina entered before her disappearance. We can only speculate that the investigators' failure in gathering the right information in the first few days of the investigation led them into a messy cycle that is based on rumors, and who said what rather than solid information that could have helped them establish a list of individuals to question. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and ring the bell to get notified every time we upload a new video.